Okay, Gaz, Monday morning.
Yes, mate.
Walk season 2. Where are we headed to?
We're driving now to a place called the Lionstone to meet Ross Broadstock. Ross is going to talk to us about well, his book here, among other things, where he's connecting ancient Egypt to the Welsh language and the Welsh people, which I have never heard done before. I'm interested to talk to him and really sort of dig around that and find out what that's all about. How you doing, Ross?
Hello.
Nice to see you. It's been a while.
Nice to see you again, Gareth, yes.
We tried to set up at the Lionstone, that was the plan, and we got told to clear off by a rather aggressive shepherd.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I'll put that on my list of life experiences now. That wasn't expecting to happen to me. But so when I was a kid, I was really into ancient Egypt. I went to the British Museum, saw Tutankhamun and all that sort of stuff, but no one ever mentioned Wales. I never heard that connection before.
Yeah, and I was always a big fan as well. I went to Egypt a few times. I never heard it till recently, and it's strange because this connection's been known about or talked about since the 1790s. What the theory was then, that there was an ancient Assyrian language that spread out behind all the Indo-European languages, and because Wales is right on the edge of Europe, never really much migration or invasion, the language has stayed in its most pure form. So it's a language at least very similar to the language they used with the hieroglyphs. So, and it just works out very easily, really.
There seems to be history everywhere as well. Like I'm in the middle of a wood, and then there's just an old wall, a shed load of Johnnies as well. I'm not sure if that's relevant to the history of the area, but someone's been pretty busy there though. But I'm gonna go meet Carl anyway.
Hi Gareth, how you doing?
Yeah, good mate, thanks for meeting me. Appreciate
really
it,
nice
mate.
to meet you, it's really nice to meet you.
No, and you. I've been like looking around here. Like
Yeah.
You've got a beautiful woodland, but there are then signs that there were buildings there,
Yeah.
that there were quarries
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So is that what you're saying, obviously, about the disturbance of the land and stuff like that? It's kind of fighting for its fighting its way back a bit.
No, yeah, that's the thing, because what you've got the various mining in the area. I've got a new book coming out called The Romans in South Wales, and with that, I mention about the mining associated with Taff Wells.
Right.
The iron mining in the Roman period associated with Taff Wells. And lots of people talk about it's the first time we ever mined in the area for iron in the Industrial Revolution. And they say it's the first time we ever mined for coal, right? And what we do find is the Romans needed that coal to get the temperatures up to melt the iron.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us, for one, and also really good luck with the book. So when's that out?
The Romans in South Wales will be out in virtually 10 days.
Oh wow!
It's out
available
now.
Yeah.
It's out now. So the Romans in South Wales is out now. Thank you very much.
Love it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Magic.
Afterwards, grew as strong, like my love. I know to get up.
Grow up. Hi Alan, thank you for talking to me. We'll do an air handshake. There you go. If you could just give us just a little bit of history about Llandaff, because it's clearly an important place.
Well, it was a Celtic monastery at
Right.
one point. Well, that's what we think. And it was built underneath the bank here because it was a much lower building,
Right.
so that it was hidden from the Vikings. Because the Vikings came up this far up the river, but they thought that by hiding it underneath this bank, they wouldn't destroy the church.
So is that old then?
It goes back to about the 5th, 6th century, yes.
So there's George VI.
And that's Elizabeth.
And Elizabeth, there she is.
Yeah.
Young Elizabeth. So what we're meant to be doing is just driving up to where we're staying in a little guest house tonight before obviously filming tomorrow. But having spoke to particularly Alan at Llandaff yesterday and just talking about the pilgrimages and the pilgrim routes that these people were taking and the sacrifices these people were making to do these pilgrimages and stuff, it made me think like there's a pilgrimage I should really be doing, and I've wanted to do it for a long time. Yeah, I've got you a pebble to put down, mate.
So whose grave is this?
This is Dobby the Free Elf.
Who's Dobby?
What? Right, so this is the church. From the granted limited stuff that I've got, the castle's near the church, so that could be like the, I don't know,
Right.
earthworks, whatever they call it.
The earthworks.
I think that's what they call it. We just need to work out how to get up there.
The grave over there, maybe he's buried in there.
I think it's a bit before that, Rich. Oh, we're clearly lost, Darren. 3 clueless Englishmen and a Kiwi in rural Wales getting instructions off a German. So this is it then. Well, the outside of it at least. But Monica said that the Normans came and just basically just tore it up looking for treasure, so I'm guessing that's why. Do you know what I mean? Well, there's not a lot around. But he's meant to be buried under this. So what else Moni's saying, which is weird, is like the family. So Gareth and Sir Gawain were Arthur's nephews, but he had them killed.
Amazing to think all of that happened here.
Yeah. And that's just apparently where he's buried. That's a family feud, isn't it? Hi Paula, thank you very much for talking to us. Would you be able to tell us a little bit of the history of the castle?
Yes, certainly. So Roche Castle, as it's pronounced.
I've been calling it Roche the whole time.
That's
Castle,
fine.
right?
If you have time, Gareth, I'll tell you why it's pronounced Roche Castle. It was built in 1180
Wow.
by a Norman knight called Adam de Roop.
Right.
And he wanted to build a castle on the volcanic rock, and we'll show you later if you've got time.
Oh yeah, I'd love to, yeah.
Because he had a spell cast on him by an old crone. She told him that one day you're going to die of the bite of a viper.
Right.
So he had a terrible, we had vipers, we had poisonous snakes in those days in
Wow.
Wales. Don't have them now, you'd be pleased to know. But this gave him a phobia of snakes. He thought a great place to stay away from snakes is to build a castle on that volcanic rock. And the tower that you see here that we're in at the moment was the original Norman tower, and that's the chapel behind us. And Adam de Roop stayed in the top, or lived in the top room of the castle, a bedroom we now call de Roop.
Right.
And unfortunately for Adam, his manservant, as he did every day, came with a basket of logs to light the fire in his room. And one day there was a snake in amongst the logs.
Right.
And he did indeed die of the bite of a viper.
You're enjoying this, aren't you? Finton, so what we doing?
Well, what we're going to do is coasteering.
Okay.
Have you been coasteering before, or do you know anything about it?
It's swimming in cold water, basically. I just oversimplified that.
This is the birthplace of it.
So it's basically a case of you're not testing your feet, it's just straight in.
You're not testing your feet, it's you get straight in, so you're going to keep your body rigid,
Right.
push your hips towards me,
Right.
and keep yourself like that. I'm going to lower you back, and when I let you go, then you're just going to fall, right?
Okay.
And keep yourself straight like that.
Oh my god! Oh god! That just knocks the air out of you, doesn't it? Woo!
Right. Straight in front of you, right?
Yeah, okay, ready?
Here we go.
Okay. Woo! Okay. Okay.
Golden love on the inside. Water and fire.
Thanks for talking me into it, mate. I appreciate that. I just need a push sometimes in life. Ready?
How was that, buddy?
Oh, mate, that was great. I nearly bottled it. I really nearly bottled it. And I saw you looking at me. And I thought, I can't. Oh, man, what an experience that was. That was incredible. I'm having a beer, Rich. I'm having a beer. So I'm sat in the oldest inn in Wales.
Yeah, we claim to go back to as far as long ago as 1110.
Wow.
Very, very difficult to prove, but there was certainly a public house here in the sort of 15th century.
It's got a kind of quite a famous history. I don't want to say dark history because that makes it sound bad, but a history of paranormal and not such nice things.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been some dreadful things we believe that's happened here, including the hanging, the taking of life of many of us, 180 felons possibly. Wow. Again, difficult to prove, but it was certainly a courtroom till about 1640 upstairs and an alehouse downstairs for the entirety of its life. Historians tell us it's not particularly unusual because a substantial building like this in those times would have been utilised for just about anything that was needed. There wouldn't be a separate courthouse, a separate this, a separate that.
Right.
They would amalgamate into one large building.
So how many? So 180 people in this building. What kind of crimes are we talking?
Well, the first ones were almost certainly sheep stealing,
right.
which sounds incredibly petty today, but it's just like taking someone's livelihood from them. If they were stealing sheep from a farmer, possibly just to feed their own children, you know, you can imagine what it was like in medieval times. But that was a pretty heinous crime in the eyes of the law. And if they weren't executed, they certainly would have been dealt with extraordinarily harshly.
Do you know what? I don't feel that.
I felt horrible in there, mate.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I didn't like it.
I don't know why I didn't.
I felt like it was like an oppressive feeling.
Come in and down. I'm going to shut the door.
Oh, you're having a laugh, aren't you?
It's all right. Let me sit.
I'm going to shut the door then.
Shut the door. How are you feeling now?
Yeah, it feels horrible, Rich. I told you before you did it, it felt horrible. Yeah, it feels, I feel like breathing-wise, just a bit tight-chested, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very nice. How about you? Do you feel good?
I feel fine.
Oh, that's all right then. As long as you're happy.
All right, let's open the door.
Thanks, mate. Right, let's go out of here. So, you know, Jeff was saying that beam would have been too small to hang people.
Yeah.
They were so small back then.
Yeah.
Weren't they? Maybe it's not then.
You'd have been all right. No one would have been able to hang you.
Fanny, the beloved wife of Henry Price of the Skerrid Mountain Inn, she died September 27th. Life is but a breath. Yeah, I guess it is. Well, R.I.P. Fanny. Let's get stomping?
Absolutely.
Yeah, after you then. I'm not trampling across these. Stomping up to Offa's Dyke now. I just filmed at the Skerrid Inn. Well, just a while ago. It's the oldest inn in Wales, and like there was the pub downstairs, the courthouse was upstairs, and the noose is hanging down the stairs, like in between the two. So there's like a little cell upstairs, which is like dead creepy. Like we're going back to like 1200s, but yeah. So people sat downstairs having a pint. And then someone goes upstairs, yeah, you're guilty, son. And yeah, we'll just hang you. There you go, see you later. So I even Google Map, I whacked it on the Google Map thinking, right, tell me where to be. Like, it says I'm 2 minutes away. Like I'm a fucking gazelle. Maybe it's that thing up there. But that ain't 2 minutes away.
You have arrived.
Right, you're lying. I've got a stomp down there, but I need a minute. I've not eaten enough today. I think that's what it is. Gone a bit dizzy. think I've got a couple of toenails left. Hey Jim.
Hi there.
Thanks for talking to me, mate. I'm sorry for being slightly late.
Oh, it's fine. You get lost up here in the mountains.
Yes, I did. How big is Offa's Dyke? Because it feels like, it might be because I'm tired, but it feels like it goes on forever.
Oh, well, according to the Bishop Esser in the life of King Alfred, he wrote that the Offa's Dyke ran from all the way from the Dee estuary down to Chepstow, where it opens up into the Severn. But the University of Manchester turned around and said, actually, there's only one section of that from Rushton Hill to, up to just south of Mold in Flintshire, which can be definitely said to be Offa's Dyke. So instead of being about 150 miles long, we can definitely say that there is a 63-mile stretch. It starts just up the road from here. And said that any gaps in there were either erosion, bits of it had been destroyed by succeeding generations. There were medieval hill forts all over the area, especially either side, especially down towards the Severn. There was a lot of medieval development down there. But from Rushton Hill up to Mold, that is definitely the 8th century Offa's Dyke, built as a boundary line, but more likely as a defensive position between the Mangasatans and the Powys kingdoms, as they were during the during the Dark Ages.
Hi Liz, thank
Hello.
you very much for talking to us. First question is probably, I always pronounce things wrong, so how is it actually supposed to be said?
Castell Henllys, but it has taken me 26 years to say this.
Right.
And there's probably still people who say, no, you're not quite getting it right. Castell Henllys.
Castell Henllys. Does that sound good, Rich? No.
Henllys means old court.
Oh, okay.
And it actually gets its name from that hill up there, and there was a mansion up there called Henllys, and this land just belonged to it. So
Right.
Castell Henllys. So in the Iron Age, it would probably have had a completely different name.
Of course, yeah. Oh wow, this is awesome. And there's birds flying around.
Yes, swallows. This is our biggest house.
It is. You said earlier like a TARDIS, and
Yes.
it is, yeah. It's just like that. You don't think it's going to be as big as it is. Massive.
And this is a sword which is based on one of many that were discovered in a place called Llancerrig in Anglesey. So this is a classic sort of Iron Age sword.
Wow. Oh, that's heavy. That's heavy. Is this bone?
The handle is antler, but we've put that on and we're not sure if it's perfectly accurate.
Right.
But the weight and length of that sword is classic Iron Age, well, according to Llancerrig anyway.
That's incredible. That's really heavy, actually. So this is an ancient burial site called Pentry Afan, I think. I've probably said it wrong, it's me. But it's 5,500 years old, so that's cool. Anything that's that old. And they're still here. Oh! Been done by a gate. I'm being polite, Rich.
Just mate.
It's just 3,500 BC, so
Just a little bit
a
old.
couple of weeks ago. Ah, look, here you go. So actually what we're looking at had land either side of it, built around it.
Yeah.
That makes sense, I suppose. Is it weird that I feel uncomfortable about walking underneath it, even though it's been stood there for how many thousand years? I still think it's just going to collapse on me.
I wouldn't want to, because it doesn't look like it looks very Flintstone-esque, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like if you'd have been around at those times, you'd have gone.
It's like a really
Up Barry.
heavy house of cards.
Are you sure that's all right? That's going to be safe, Barry?
That'd be all right. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. The first thing, 'cause I know nothing about this place, the first thing that strikes me is the size of it.
Yeah, it is a fair size. It started off a bit smaller.
Right.
It was originally planned to be a priory. So the first monks came in 1113 and there were 13 monks.
Right.
So that was a prior and 12 underlings. But about 5 years later, the Norman lord that controlled this part of Wales started getting a bit more ambitious. So he went back to Normandy and said, look, any chance if I give you a load of extra land that you can raise the status of this place to an abbey?
Okay.
So they were quite pleased with that idea. So another 13 monks came and it became an abbey. So there was an expansion. The abbey that he went to, it was a place called Tiron in those days. It's Tiron Gardet now in the Eure-de-Loire region of Normandy.
Okay.
It was a brand new abbey that they had there, so it didn't have many possessions.
Right.
So the fact that, we've been offered a nice place in another country, so we've got a sort of foothold in Britain, which is new territory for us Normans, and now they're offering us extra land and the chance to have a daughter abbey, which raises the status of our own abbey, which was only about 5 years old, at that time. So it was, I suppose for them an attractive opportunity to get a foothold.
Like opening a restaurant in another city, basically expanding.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So this is the next one in the chain. We're going to have Tyronensian houses all over Europe.
Did that ever happen?
Not really, no.
Not really.
This is the only major house that they had in Wales. The other ones were all daughter houses to St Ogmores. I always think the trick is when you're walking around these places, even if a wall's only that high, I never walk over a foundation. I always look for the doorways. You've got to use your imagination. That's a wall,
Yeah, of course, yeah. Oh, magic. Well, I'm going to have a little bit more of a walk around then before we have to move on.
Yeah. Oh, well, enjoy your visit.
Yeah, thank you. Here we go.
That's right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How do I look?
Wonderful.
Yeah?
Kind of 70s pop band-esque.
Are you thinking YMCA? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, a little bit of that. Mine's a bit loose.
Jeez, that sounds like it's like the opening scene of Porridge. That when the prison guard just closes all the doors, there ain't no getting out.
Amazing. Not quite sure. I feel like it's going to drop suddenly.
That's what I feel like. I'm at Alton Towers or something.
Yeah.
It's just going to. Ooh, there we go.
It really felt like I was on Alton Towers then.
I think it's going to get very dark very quickly, isn't it? Yeah. Here we go.
We'll see.
Magic.
Welcome to 500 feet down.
Wow.
It's a very unique feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's cold.
Yeah, you felt the change, didn't you?
You felt the change in temperature big time, yeah?
Should be around 7 to 7.5 degrees at this time of year. The worst I've personally seen was this year, and we got down to 0.5 degree centigrade.
Man.
We don't normally drop that cold, it's just where obviously because of the lockdown we haven't had the humans through the mine.
Oh, of course,
and humans make a big difference to temperature down here.
Really?
A massive difference to the temperature.
So this chamber is absolutely enormous.
Yes, it is. The first thing you need to realise with this one is you're not actually in a chamber. This is actually 3 chambers across 2 separate floors. But I wanted to stop you in here because obviously I've touched upon the fact that it takes 20-25 minutes to walk up and roughly the same to get down. So as a miner, you're not going to be going for a 30-minute break to the surface.
No.
So they would have taken breaks underground. And while this particular example is missing a roof because we use this for the public to get photos in when restrictions are normally lifted, this is actually quite a faithful representation of what they would have used. It would have been known as a caban.
Right.
Now, the reason we like this one, apart from the fact that we built it, is because all of the rock you see in here came from that pile behind it.
Fantastic.
So everything was done the way the miners would have done things, with hammers, chisels, jumpers, obviously no explosives, but we actually built this the way they did, so that way when the public want to see it, they can actually see what would it have really been like. But a lot of the stuff that we've actually got sat on the table in front of us, a lot of this stuff, this hasn't actually been to the surface since the day it was brought underground. So these are the kettles and the heaters and the cups and the lunch boxes that the miners actually used while they were working down here. One of the other things that we like is a lot of the miners, for Well, it's a best guess that we can give. They leave a boot underground on their last day of work. So when they finish, they leave the shoe down here. We're not sure of the significance of it because it's something that we're struggling to find significance for, but it's something that's been done in every slate mine. You'll always find a left boot underground. It gives us a very, very unique view into their world because you can actually pick up the artefacts, the objects, the things they used on a daily basis. And if you liked what you've seen so far, I'll give you a little taste with the torch, and then what we'll do is we'll play a couple of things in here and get some lights on so you can really see it. But this chamber starts all the way over here. It's got a lovely underground lake sitting in the middle of it. Wow. But the chamber just keeps on going. And you've actually got 7 chambers here, side by side by side by side from one another. But it actually also goes 2 stories up. So you're actually standing in 14 chambers that have all been worked through into one giant underground cavern. Unbelievable. Imagination down here can either be your best friend or your worst enemy, deciding on, obviously, how your mind works.
Yeah, of course. It is kind of, it's very Gollum. You can imagine Gollum knocking around down here.
And if you look up there, you can actually see you've got some brown stuff coming out that looks like rust.
Right,
Problem is, that's exactly what it is. Now, if you were to put that in a tile on a roof, well, within 3 years, it's going to do that. And that means a 300-year roof is going to fall down within about 3.
Less than
why,
ideal.
on the drive in, you wouldn't have been able to miss. There's 250 million tonnes of rock on the mountains around here. That accounts for 90 to 95% of everything they dug out from underground. Because it was waste, it was no use. And you think about what we've spoken about so far, and then the reality of 95% of everything you did down here was
a waste
rubbish.
of time. Yeah.
Yeah. That's got to be the real soul crusher.
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
So, shall I flick the light switch for you and we'll
Please
show
do.
you this place in a really special light.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, amazing. Survived. We're on our way out now. Jeff's like a proper fountain of knowledge, isn't he? Yeah. Amazing. But yeah, I'm not never going to whinge about work again, that's for sure. Thank you so much, Jeff.
No, thank you, sir. I'm always glad to get to share that world with people because you can carry a lot forwards into your own life in the modern world by looking at what they did in the past to put us where we stand today.
100%. What a legend. Thank you. Thank you very much. Here we go. After you, Richard.
The looking glass.
Through the looking glass.
Lovely. Hello, mate.
How you doing?
How you doing? You alright?
Excellent. Good to meet you.
Hey, mate. I'm Gareth.
Hey, yeah.
Pleased
Nice
to meet you.
Yeah, cool.
This place is great.
Thank you very much.
Should we go make some ice cream?
Let's make some ice cream.
All right, gentlemen. First things first. I'll give you your aprons.
Oh,
one for
thank you very much.
And one for you, Richard.
Safety first.
Safety first. Keep your clothes
That's
nice and
great.
clean. Go up like that.
Ah.
Twist it round. Just until it's halfway full, and then you're going to bring it back down.
Oh no!
That's okay. Oh,
I'm stuck.
I've got it. That's
Right.
fine. That's fine.
Clearly didn't understand it. I think it went well. I think it went well. Because you have to kind of dab it down like this and get it in there. So.
You're going to have to get some of that to demanifest.
Okay.
Can we shove it back in?
I'll tell you what we'll do.
I only wanted to make a vanilla.
I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll scoop half out, put it in here,
Yeah, I'm not
and we'll
keen
put it
on
on top
those,
when we're done, right?
Yeah. It's kind of a...
That's great, Rich, that.
You got any cracks in the wall you need doing?
That was fantastic.
Well,
Gareth, who's in control?
I'm in control.
You're in control.
I'm in control.
Tell it what's boss.
Makes me think that's Jerry Maguire. What's he saying?
Show me the ice cream.
Show me the ice cream. Here we go. Right.
The concentration, the tension.
I feel like I was born to do this.
You really have a gift.
He's
He's learnt the word garnish now. He's going to split that in every sentence possible for the next week.
Elf garnish.
Yeah.
Oh, if you say that, we're about to make some Gareth eye cream.
Oh, love that's actually pretty good.
That's a bad one, isn't
I
it?
would sell
As a kid, that.
I wish.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go. Not too bad, is it? I'll take that.
I'll just extract the rest.
I'll just stand awkwardly in the...
Yours is melting. Shall I try and save a bit of yours there, Rich? Because that's melting off the side.
Yeah, thank you.
You were really fishing then to win, weren't you? You were dead competition.
Yeah, I like a competition, but I never get involved. I never can get involved in a competition.
What do you mean?
Well, you never invite me to your parties, Gareth.
You were involved in all of it. Although granted, the only thing you've really wanted to get involved with on camera is making ice cream, which isn't particularly hard. No offence.
Yeah. So.
Can I say first of all, I didn't mean to be rude in there, mate. It just came out. He winds me up.
Yeah.
Thanks for this.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it, mate.
Thank you.
It's been wicked.
Yeah, my pleasure.
It's been really
Thank you.
great. I've never made ice cream before. It was a lot of fun doing that. Love it. Thanks, guys.
Go Clive Snowden now.